Hi, this is Cheri from GossamerWingsDesigns.com, and I'm going to make another bead, and this is the sequel to my other video where I was showing you the whole process from a little bit further back. Now I want you to really zero the camera in so we can come close and see what the flame is doing and what the glass is doing. So I'm going to get this flame lit. And the bead we made last was a green bead with red dots for Christmas. This one is going to be a red bead with green dots. Let me get the flame lit here. Okay, we're ready to get started. So again, I've got my mandrel, and so you don't need to see my face now yet, right? So are you close in? Can you see what I'm doing? All right. Okay, so again, I am warming up my mandrel. It's been dipped in bead release, and I'm just making sure the bead release is nice and dry. Looks pretty good, and I'm going to just park my mandrel just below the flame. Now I'm starting my glass rod out here about maybe 6 inches from my torch, and then as it heats up I can see it start to glow. I can see a little bit of a let's see, yeah, it's starting to change color, so I know that I'm in the flame. Sometimes it's hard to see where the flame is at. Nat, can you see the blueness of the flame against this white background? Okay, great. Alright, so I'm coming in. Now can you see the red mandrel starting to glow orange? Great. Alright, so I'm just going to keep this thing parked below the flame, and I need to melt about a 1/4 to 1/2 inch of glass here to apply to make my bead. Right at the tip of the blue flame. That is the hottest part of the flame, right at the end of that. Okay, I've got about a 1/2 inch of glass here. So now I've got the glass and the mandrel at 90 degrees to each other, and I'm going to apply that melty glass to my mandrel. I guess it's not hot enough. Something's not hot enough. Let's try again. Here we go. Maybe turn up my flame a little bit. Here we go. Alright, give it a shot. Alright, now I'm just turning my mandrel away from me. Very important, by the way, to turn it away from you at this point. I'm going to add a little glass to that. It's a little lopsided, and I want a bigger bead, so I'm going to add more glass to it. And it's going to be really misshapen when I start, but it's going to round itself once I'm done here. So let's add a little more glass. There we go, and I'm letting the flame cut the glass between the mandrel and the bead. Okay, so I've got an L-shaped piece of glass here. I want to straighten that out, so I'm just going to press it against my marber so it's nice and straight for the next person who uses it. I'm going to bring my bead back in. Now you notice that I've put both hands on my mandrel and I've switched sides. So now I'm right-handed, so I'm working from the right side here. If you're left-handed, you might want to aim your torch the opposite direction. So I'm just going to park my bead right at the end of that flame, and can you see it glowing? See how the top part is kind of dark and the bottom is orange? And I'm just going to turn it just a little bit just to make sure the bead is evenly melty, molten, glowing hot. And if I don't turn it now and then, it's going to just stay melty on one side and cool on the other. So I had to turn it just now because the back end of it was cool. And do you see how it's starting to round itself? It just naturally wants to be a round thing. It makes you think about what happened when the Earth spun off from the sun. How we became a round planet. There's probably a physics lesson in here somewhere. I'm just going to keep turning. I'm going to let gravity do its work and just pull the fat part of glass at the top. Let it pull that down as needed to make it nice and spherical. So about there, that's pretty good. I'm just going to spin it a little bit slowly as I pull it out of the flame. I don't want it to sag because it's still pretty melty. And I'm just going to get up here about 6 inches away, and it's turning dark, so I'm going to switch hands again. So that red bead is going to have green dots, so the green is not going to show up very well against the red. So I'm going to put white dots underneath. So I'm just going to get this white warmed up. Just come in slowly. I'm going to keep this red bead below the flame. I'm going to bring in that white there. It's starting to, there's a little bit of a soda flare, the little orange flare is coming off of it. And I'm coming in closer. Now white it acts differently from the other colors because the glass itself does not glow orange, whereas the red did. Instead, the white glass turns clear, and that orange around it is a soda flare, but the glass itself is not glowing from within. Okay, so I've got enough white there. I don't need a whole lot, so I'm just going to make dots along the equator and let the flame cut the glass for me. And touch it. Let the flame cut the glass. And I'm touching it and letting the flame cut the glass. Now these dots around the equator, one is really big and the other two are tiny, so I'm going to even those up and add a little more glass to them. Now one thing that's important is that the beads that are already on there, dots rather, if you leave those in the flame and they're melty and this is melty, they're just going to not separate, or the bead can come off and stay stuck to the original rod. So you need that to always be cooling a little bit underneath the flame. Okay, so I'm melting enough. I'm going to come in at the between each one of those dots and just do dots along the sides of my bead. And again, I'm letting the flame cut my glass. And when I have a long string of glass, that's called a stringer. And that stringer naturally wants to pull itself back towards the bead. Did you see how that one just sunk down? Wasn't that cool? Okay, so I'm just going to do my last one here. Let's see now, do I need to add any glass? I think this one could use a little bit more glass. There we go. Alright, okay, I'm going to straighten out my rod, put that down, and just park it at the end of the blue flame, and just let those white dots settle in towards the bead. I don't want to flatten them out completely at this point. It's not necessary, unless I want a completely flat bead. Make a difference. Good. Alright, now I'm going to let it cool. I'm switching hands again. Now that I'm putting the green in my dominant hand, and the green is going to sit out here about 4 to 6 inches out. I want to make sure I'm in the flame. It's hard to see where that flame is. And I'm just kind of waving it up and down. I just want, there we go. The green is starting to glow red. Do you see that, how it's glowing? You coming in? Oh, great. Okay. So it's glowing. So I know I'm in the right spot. So I'm going to, oops, I got to keep my bead warmed up. Alright, so now I got just enough glass to start making dots. I'm going to go on top of my white dots and just complete that whole process, you know, just do what I already did, just letting those stringers sink back down. It's a lot like trying to pat your head and rub your tummy, that little trick we used to do when we were kids. You have to know what your right hand and your left hand are doing at all times. It takes a little practice. Got one gigantic white bump on here. Uh-oh. And we'll call that character, right? Ooh, that's good. A little bit too much. Oh, that worked out. Okay, I think I've got enough green on there, so I'm going to straighten out my green rod. And come back into the flame and just let it sit and just slowly turn it just to keep all of those dots evenly heated and evenly molten, melty, and glowing. So I'm not spinning fast. I'm not trying to spin it to make it round. It wants to be round. I'm just turning it slowly so that it all starts to glow. Because when it's all glowing, that means the glass is going to stick to itself. And when your bead is cooled, it's not going to fall apart. Alright, that's good enough. I think my beads or dots are perfect. I'm just going to slowly spin as I bring it out of the flame. And once it stops glowing, I can put it in that fiber blanket. If I put it in the blanket while it's still glowing, it might melt to the fibers of the blanket. So there we go. It's done. I'm turning off the flame. Thank you very much.